Hey, Jared.
Hey, Josh.
Why do dressmakers need so many pens?
Why do dressmakers need so many pens? I don't know. I got nothing.
Because it's like acupuncture, but for your self-esteem.
Oh, right. Of course.
Come on, you didn't know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Now I do.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time Film, a podcast where we discuss a director's filmography in chronological order. You're currently almost finishing up Paul Thomas Anderson. So, Jared, I cannot begin my day with confrontation, please. I'm delivering a podcast today, and I can't not take up space with confrontation. I simply don't have time for confrontation.
Heard.
So my name is Josh, and this is my co-host, Jared.
To keep my sour heart from choking, to break a curse, a podcast that doesn't change is a dead podcast.
True. So if you don't know from those quotes, today we are discussing the film Phantom Thread. So this film came out in 2017. Catching up here to present day. Rated R, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Set in the 1950s London, Reynolds Woodcock is a renowned dressmaker whose fastidious life, wow, that's a unusual, that's a word that's not used very often, is disrupted by a young, strong-willed woman, Alma, who becomes his muse and lover. So this is written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Also, the cinematography is credited to Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's crazy. Yeah. Composer John Greenwood, who we've been with for a while. Production costs. What do you think?
I have no idea. I think I'm going to guess around the same. I think this is probably what I guessed last time, but 30 million.
Okay. 35 million.
Oh, okay. Good.
All right. So we've got a handful of Oscar noms and one win.
Okay.
So we got nomination for Best Performance by an Actor in Leading Role by Daniel Day-Lewis.
Of course.
But he did not win. Nomination for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role by Leslie Manville. She did not win.
That's not Alma. That's...
Yeah, that's the sister.
Right.
Cyril.
Yeah.
I always think of Andor.
I know, yeah.
And then nominee for Best Achievement in Music written by John Greenwood for the original score. Winner, Best Achievement in Costume Design.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And then also nominated for Best Achievement in Directing for Paul Thomas Anderson. So
nice.
Yeah. So not too bad.
So he's got nominated
a lot.
Quite a few times. I don't remember. Has he won? No, because we were talking about the There Will Be Blood.
That was
year was
but
No
the
Country.
Best Picture was No Country for Old Men, but for Best Cinematography, they gave it to, and that's what I was arguing because
what about director?
I don't think it was his. So they probably the Coen brothers probably won for Best Director as well. You'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
Check the tapes.
Check the tape.
So I mean, I only got the three people as because the rest of it, so we got Daniel Day-Lewis and then Vicky Krieps is playing Alma. I have never seen her in anything.
No,
and
me
even
either.
looked at her list and it's really not even stuff I've heard of, but she's been in a bunch of things. And then Leslie Manville.
Yep.
I mean, playing the sister, she more recently in Disclaimer, saw her in that. She was in that in the main role. But yeah, she was obviously familiar with, and then the rest of the cast they were really not, just background people, or like not really.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah. So this film, I believe neither one of us had seen, right? I know I hadn't, right?
Nope.
So you had. So what was your overall thoughts on this film?
I was looking forward to it, for sure. Obviously the time period I love, but overall thoughts, I'm trying to think how to start this. I did write down kind of something in general that I think explains this movie well, to me at least, the way I feel about it. Well, first of all, I love the tone of the film, but I think the tone of this film, they made it kind of feel like synonymous with the dresses. Like, so like the feel of this film is like, I look at it to where it's like the dresses that he's making, where it's like very rich, elegant, and soft. That kind of fits like the feel of the movie, which I think is really cool if that was intentional by him. But so yeah, really love the tone, and in general, I really enjoyed this movie. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with you. Yeah, that the tone, I didn't think about it in that context of like it fitting the dresses, but
Yeah,
I do think, yeah, it kind of fits is like all the, which we'll talk about later, but cinematography is most lighting's very soft, and and like the lenses are, like the lensing, I guess, is even like feels a little softer than some other stuff. It's not as sharp.
yeah,
But yeah, but I overall, yeah, I enjoyed this film. I think it was good to see after, I think, a handful of films that I felt were, as a story, weren't cohesive
right.
and didn't really, and kind of felt a little messy, and it got worse as they went along. The last couple, like I feel like it kind of, but yet you'd see these scenes and the performances were great, and this, it was great to see something where you had these great performances, but yet we had a pretty succinct, cohesive story that, like, is a little more straightforward. And I think it really was like, oh, this is what, any of those other films I think could have been if he wasn't being so weird about it. Like, basically, especially that last one, Inherent Vice. Like, it's like, I mean, what the heck?
Yeah, that one's definitely his worst, I think, for sure.
But it's like, again, and it's like, I don't want to criticize, because obviously this guy's making movies and I'm not, but like, it feels like sometimes I just feel like it's trying to be artsy for artsy's sake and trying to be different for different sake. And it's like, dude, just make a cohesive story. And then like he does this, and it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not subject matter like I'd want to watch over and over, but I think as a whole, is really well made and well put together, and
Definitely.
well acted and well directed, all of the things. And it's like, no wonder it got nominated for 6 different things. And I think, I mean, again, so going back to, we were just talking about There Will Be Blood, like, that was cohesive.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it was just like long. Like, yeah, like that was only the pacing was really like, and so, and this, that was the only, again, it didn't feel real long, but like, it's still one of those things where you could have trimmed it down some more even this, but.
So what is it? Well, I mean, you kind of just went into it a little bit, but was there anything else about this movie that, like, you can kind of describe that made you like it more, like pacing wise, or anything else? Because that was kind of your main thing, like you're just talking about, which I seem to, as we've gone, I seem to like the pacing of his films more than you do. But so what was different about it in this one?
Well, one, I think this moved kept things moving along a little more. I feel like the pacing wasn't as slow.
Yeah.
Do I think it still could be a little bit tighter? Probably. But I think this one felt, but I think it felt like it fit also the tone, like you were talking about. I think that's a little bit of the softness and the, like, that also goes along with like the pacing a little bit too. Like, right. And so it kind of fit the tone of the film, whereas some of the other ones, it wouldn't, like, if that makes sense. But yeah, but I overall enjoyed the film, and thought it was Interesting story.
Me too.
So let's get into it. A little more spoilery and talk about some specific areas. So just kind of speaking to like the opening introduction of who Reynolds Woodstock was, and what do you think the opening portrayed about Reynolds before you even saw him speak?
So I have a I have a note about this. It was just like what I really liked about Reynolds as a character anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really interesting from the start, even before he speaks.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're asking about, like even first impressions of him, he has a warmth and a kindness to him, but also very serious and very obsessed with his craft.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of an interesting dynamic to his character, which I really liked immediately. And I also want to say, like, shout out to this dude's fashion style, because obviously we know like he's like a master dressmaker,
Mm-hmm.
but like everything this dude wears also is like really sick. Like I would wear all of this. I really liked his style too. So just immediately I was intrigued by him.
Yeah, I thought there was a good balance of, like you said, he didn't feel completely cold, but then there was also like this meticulousness and like kind of attention to detail to his routine and everything. Like in the more, like he was just kind of, they really kind of set up his character and who he is, even without him talking. That I think they did really well.
That's definitely, that's a good point. The routine thing, especially, you're right. Like he has such a routine that he forces essentially everyone around him to adhere to it.
Which is also set up for later, but like but it still also works for introducing us to who he is as a person. I think really well. So then we kind of meet Alma a little bit into this, but before that's because his sister is basically like, why don't you go to the country and I'll take care of this problem, which is like his current living girlfriend, I guess. Like,
yeah, that was
you're not really sure, right? No. You don't know if it's his wife. You don't know you don't know the situation.
She just remarks about it a little bit, and that's about it. We don't really get much. Yeah.
And then from that point on, that lady's gone. We don't
ever see her. Yeah. It's only a few sentences about her, and that's it.
Yeah. It's where she interrupts him with a confrontation in the morning.
Yeah. Well, so also, I mean, I really like this. You're talking about like him when Reynolds first meets Alma. He orders breakfast from her. I think specifically what I really liked about it was how smooth he was too. I was like his whole, because I don't even know if originally like he was planning on picking her up in any way, but like his, ordering everything and then basically saying like, hey, remember this because I'm going to keep this, handwriting of yours, everything that she wrote down. I don't know, just found it really interesting. He was pretty smooth. Like that part I wasn't expecting out of him.
Right. Cause again, they kind of set up as he's a little bit off-putting and has this very routine, and then like to see him interact with her that way and a little bit more, you're not expecting.
Yeah.
He also ordered a lot of food.
Oh yeah.
Like his list of things was, but then, then of course he opens up the what she was writing down, and she didn't even actually write anything down. She just wrote her name down and like her number or something. So this was the only thing, and it doesn't. I don't think it ruined it because again, talking about pacing, I think we didn't need to see this take a while, but like it is a little, I think a little far fetched to write like to her to be instantly like the strange man come in for dinner and like just be like, oh, I'm gonna ask you out, and like her to be that attracted to him like instantly. But I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't think so because, I mean, yeah, they go out on their date and pretty immediately she says, you know, you're a very, very handsome man. I don't know. So she seemed down, you know, I mean, yeah, when was that? So it was like right after, because he takes her to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And then actually it might be during the dinner or when they're talking right afterwards. But anyway, So I don't know. I think she was into him. Also, one thing, because there's very, very few like funny moments in this movie. For the most part, there's no humor at all in this.
Yeah.
But I did really like, and I thought it was funny how much Reynolds despises the way Alma eats. Like they point that out in like several different scenes, and it's just his reaction just cracked me up to her, the way she does things with her food. But
yeah, one time, what did he say? He calls it some like he's like.
He's very specific about it. I don't remember what he says, but yeah.
Yeah. So, so then we kind of get it, and this is what you were alluding to a little bit, but we kind of get this play on like the power struggle between them, basically, because then she's not going to just bend to his will like everyone else kind of previously has done, and so. I think, you know, P.T. Anderson does a great job in these different scenes, really setting the tension, with just like the silence and again, longer shots, takes, or whatever you want to call it, like, you know, like scenes that play out and just letting them play out in like a single camera. Which we've talked about, he's done in the past, but like, I think it just works so well in the tone of this, right? Like, and what they're going for.
Specifically, you're right. Specifically with the silences, yeah, definitely. I think it's really cool because I think this might even be the same moment. When they're talking after dinner, or again maybe during dinner, it kind of all like meshes together, that part of the movie. But I just think it was a really cool concept when he starts talking about sewing like a name or a photo or something into the liner of a dress or a suit jacket.
Yes, or his deceased mother's hair.
Well. Yeah, it was the hair, but then I think, doesn't he also say a photo of her? Like he put that in it, so he's like, he says basically, so she's always with me, and he kind of like over his heart. Yeah. I think he says something like that too, which I was like, oh, that's cool. And kind of made me want to, even though I don't know how to sew at all, but it kind of makes me want to do that, like, you know, sew something in that's like only you know about into, I don't know, yeah, I guess like your suit or something that you wear periodically. I think it's a cool concept. But yeah, it was just interesting, and obviously that's a through line through the movie. We see a little bit of that play out throughout.
Yeah. So his sister Cyril definitely kind of plays like the third part of this like weird triangle that is this relationship. So what do you think, at least up until this point? I think with Alma, like obviously things shift, but at this point, do you think she is the really one in control of like the house?
Oh, you in this point in the movie, you're asking
Cyril. If she's, cause like she,
Oh, Cyril. Okay. Not Alma.
yeah, cause she like in the beginning is like, why don't you go, she kind of just like and like,
Yeah.
and then it's obvious she's kind of managing the clients and doing that stuff too. And so it's like, she's kind of really the, kind of person that's managing everything, including his life, basically.
Yeah.
And now maybe some of it's based on the reactions of what he wants and doesn't want, and she just knows and kind of manages it. But it's like almost like she was, I don't want to say the muse, but like she was the one that kind of was making sure he can perform, right? Like she's like kind of, and
I mean, she's literally like a manager, because in different moments, especially at the end, like he comes to her when like something disrupts his very meticulous, routines. And he comes to her right away, and then like he's basically like, I don't know what to do, and I need you to fix it. So yeah, she's pretty much in charge. Yeah, at this moment for sure.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was just thinking about it because then also, she's like protecting him, making sure he can do that, but then also enabling him to be that petty or whatever with people, because she's she's not saying, hey, you need to change, that's not okay to treat someone that way. She just takes care of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a lot of, let's say, artists in all kinds of fields that are like this. And it's like, especially if they're really famous or very, very big in the culture, and also very rich. There are people, even the managers or anyone else, that will just let this person completely focus on what they do with their art, and just kind of like almost like they're a baby in a way, where it's just like just let them you just whatever makes them happy. We see that a lot with different art. I mean, especially in the music field, where in the music realm, with rock stars. I mean, they basically are like babies, where the manager and whoever else has to do all kinds of things, sometimes even 24/7, to make them not throw a fit. That's kind of what she's doing.
Yeah. So at some point, then we get, at some point is we really get the shift when Alma decides to slightly poison him with the mushrooms.
Yeah.
And thought this was interesting. I mean, like, dynamic.
Very interesting. Yeah. What ultimately like makes her even want to do this in the first place, though? I'm wondering. Well, I mean, she sees it in a book, but like,
right. Because like originally you think, oh, he's cruel and he's being mean, so she decides to kill him.
Yeah.
That's like what you think as a viewer, at least I did, because that's like the standard trope there in this kind of dynamic of a story. But then, of course, as it plays out, and the next time she does it, like the scene is so good to me, like the way it's acted and everything, and then I'm kind of jumping basically almost to the end. It's close to the end of the film, but where the second time she is poisoning, it's like he know it's like that moment where he figures it out. I think like it's like he's looking up at her, he sees her cooking, and he's like, it's almost like, oh, she did this. But then like this is where it takes that turn of like, but he's like looks at it as like an act of love, which is weird, but like, and then she also realizes that he realizes, right? And then he's like, and then she's basically like, yeah, I want to see you unable to do anything so I can take care of you and nurse you back to health. And then, so it's almost like this weird, lack of a better word, fetish thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. That's like keeps the spark alive or whatever. And so
I'm glad you pointed this scene out, because I was going to ask you about it. If Reynolds, like, if you think he really does like finally realize it in this moment at the very end, that scene you're talking about, which is an incredible scene, like you said. But you know, you're spot on with that, because that's how I viewed it too, that scene, to where that's when he finally realizes and then also accepts it. And then they both are basically happy with this like toxic fetish relationship dynamic. And it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, actually, even more specifically, the exact moment, I think, where he fully accepts it and he's like, this is it. And this is like, I want this, is when he says, kiss me. It's after that long silence, you know, and that whole thing plays out.
Or he takes a bite is also could be, because like I think he knows by the time he's taking a bite.
I don't know.
But then she doesn't confirm until after he takes the bite.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, because you see, I mean, obviously, and this is why you get someone like Daniel Day-Lewis, like the amount of what he's doing with his face in that whole scene is crazy.
Yeah, there's like no words.
Yeah.
Like they're both not talking forever. Yeah. And then she serves it, but it's like because it's just the way he looks at her, looks at it. It's like to me at least, the way I was reading it is like he knows, but he doesn't. Obviously, he can't be 100% sure because she didn't tell him and he hasn't tested it. But it's like all of a sudden I think because even when she's cooking, he's looking up from reading, you know, or not reading, he's drawing, right, sketching. He kind of looks up and it's like, and he's like looking up suspicious. And I think to me, like that's like when he started putting it together and like, oh, this is what happened before. And so to me, this is how I read it. I mean, obviously like it's all acting with face and whatever. And then she brings it over, because then like the way he kind of lingers on it and lingers, you know, like, and then finally takes a bite, and then he stops. He doesn't like just keep eating, like, and then he's like looks at her. But then, so that's like, I think he had a strong sense or strong, like, or he just kind of had at that point, like, oh, she's doing this to me. The last time was because she did this, and this time it's going to be again. But then, like, even as he realizes it, I think even before she verbalizes what she wants, like I said, like I think he already was accepting it as like some type of way of loving him, right? And so then she verbalizes her thing of like, I want you to be helpless on the floor, and then I nurse you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, kiss me, like, you know, as you said. And it's such a like a dark, really weird relationship thing, but you know, I guess teach their own if that's what it is.
Yeah. It's interesting that you looked at it in that way, the scene, like from him where he's still reading or writing something down and looking up at her, cooking and doing stuff in the kitchen. Because I read it kind of differently to like in that moment, because like right before that previously, we saw how like angry she got at him. So to me in that moment, at least from the start of that scene, it seemed like he was just looking up at her like and kind of like feeling her out, like, is she still mad? That's how I read it at first. And that's what I mean. That's why I think the shift happens, you know, because like the way she's acting and everything, you know, she's like slamming stuff down or like, you know, all the way to where she like serves him, like he kind of keeps looking at her and is like, okay, what's going on here? So I don't know when that shift is, but obviously this is what makes the scene so good. One of the many things is because we think of it in completely different ways, and there's so much going on because of the silence with their faces. So it's like, I don't know exactly when that moment is.
Right. It's just, yeah. And it's why from a directing and cinematography and acting, all those things are working so well is because it's like the nuance and the ambiguity into that where you're just like, it could kind of, you could interpret it different ways, but it all works either way.
Definitely.
So yeah, those,
really
good scene.
I mean, obviously crazy and messed up, but really, really good ending of the movie. It's a really weird, messed up ending, but it's good. I only have one other scene I want to talk about, but I don't know.
Yeah,
what else you got?
So, there's the we kind of the first time this happens, because we kind of jumped ahead, but the first time it happens with the poisoning was right around with the wedding dress, right? He falls into the wedding dress for the princess, and then like, Alma even ends up helping get it ready in time, right? And then by the end, we see where it's almost like she's taking over. Like she was like definitely dressed more professionally and not as like one of the seamstress or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was kind of taking care of things while he's ill in the bathroom or on the floor.
Yeah.
Because she, and I just, thought that was like kind of wild too. Cause it's like all this like weird dynamic of, and, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you said you had another scene you wanted to.
Yeah. Just it would have been around this point actually, when he's really sick, laying in bed and sees his mother, in a dress standing on the other side of the room. And obviously we know from the beginning of the movie how close he was with his mother when she was still alive. And then I really liked in this moment, like actually seeing her. Well, he thinks he's really seeing her. I just thought the scene was very touching. The way he like tells her how much he misses her, and the void her absence has left in his life. Obviously, and just like incredibly well acted. But this was a really great moment, and I like how even when Alma then eventually comes in, she's still there, so he's still like seeing her in that moment. But really great scene.
That's all I got had from.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it for the story. All right, we'll touch a little on cinematography. I mean, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit here and there, but just the lighting, very natural, soft, just fits perfectly with the vibe that the film's going for. And excuse me. Then we also have like a lot of the framing and blocking is really good for the stillness and tension that we talked about earlier. And we had some wide static shots which feel very controlled. And actually most of it is very either locked off or very smoothly moving, just to show like I think the control. And because even when they did some rotations around when a dress was being made, it's like it's definitely like on some type of dolly on a circle. Like it's not handheld. It's not. And then even or pan up, like they show like a close up of something getting done on the dresses, and it would it'd just be like a controlled pan up and down or tilt up and down, and not like any kind of handheld thing. So I think going for all that control and precision that comes along with that, it fits like it's very precise art, right? It's not this like abstract art.
Yeah,
as the dresses. then just the costume, and I mean, it's funny because I actually made a note about it, which is not something I normally note, but then, and it was like, won an award for,
Yeah.
but they also kind of feel like such a big part of the story, like the dresses
Definitely.
and the different ones he makes from, I mean, even in the beginning when he met, I mean, it was at their first date, right? Like he has her come back to the house and then he measures her and
she's so excited.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that one time they're out to dinner and there's two girls,
Oh yeah.
they're like, oh, I can't wait to,
One day wear a dress that you made. Yeah.
it was interesting because they're both, you should only see them in their mirror reflection behind
Yeah.
them. You never actually see them.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's just like a nod to like, they're not even really in this story. They're just like this, like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so it just, it shows his obsession with his craft and
Mhm.
stuff throughout, and really, shows his character even through the dresses. So
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much already said what I had written down, but in general, yeah, the film I think looks beautiful.
Mhm.
And some really interesting camera angles, which you kind of already talked about in framing.
yeah, one of them I just thought of it.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention was the couple times he's in his car.
That's the one I was going to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one I had written down. Yeah,
Those
the
are-
kind of POV car thing,
Yeah,
shots. Yeah, those are really cool.
those are interesting, and
Yeah.
and like, yeah, they were. I was kind of curious, and I haven't looked. Well, maybe it'll show up in trivia, but I wonder if they that stuff had to, because like the way they were shot.
It's like had to be. It's like mounted and kind of like high.
Yeah, but like I
on
don't know
the
if you could
back
do that
of
with the film camera, but like the rest of it looked like it was film, it wasn't digital.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they had to do that with like a digital camera and like try to match or something. I don't know.
Probably, yeah, because that'd be
There's-
crazy
yeah,
to have
yeah.
that. Yeah, you want something small
Yeah. So I'm just curious
to fit on
and
there. Yeah.
then if there's anything in trivia about it, that we will see.
Yeah.
All right. So on to the score, music.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
I liked it, and it's very piano heavy, but also really drives the emotion because
Mhm.
there's so much silence in this film,
Mm-hmm.
and just scenes of silence that the score really helps drive the feelings that as a viewer you're feeling in those scenes.
Definitely. Yeah. I thought this score was beautiful. Especially like you talked about, it is very piano focused, specifically more with the sound of the piano. It's more of a muted, dampened, dry piano sound, which I love. And I actually use a lot in my music as well, like the specific type of sound for a piano. So yeah, I love the choice of the sound and the tone of the piano. I also love piano heavy scores anyway. So, yeah, and it was great. And like you mentioned, it matches really well with kind of the flow of the movie. And it kind of has like a flow to it, the score that at times feels very similar to like kind of like a dress flowing, around it. It has that feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. All right. So themes and messages.
Yeah, I got kind of, well, not a lot, but I have a decent amount written down for this.
Okay.
But I don't know what you have.
I mean, mine's the shorter, just long, but I do.
Well, mine's not crazy long, but
I
I have more than I normally have.
just put this it's about the conflict or little battle between independence and surrender in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like it's there's got to be compromise at some point, and so there's always who not everyone can get their own way or their way to make a relationship work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was shows that, and I think interesting the line he says when he first meets her is I've never got married because then I would become deceitful, and I don't want to be deceitful.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting line in that, but then of course he eventually, because he finds the person that he can, almost can match him with the controllingness, I guess.
Yeah.
And so then he, asks her to marry him at some point, and
Mm-hmm.
after the first time he gets better, gets nurse health.
Yeah, it's like right after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but I think ultimately it's about, now it's at an extreme level because she's almost killing him,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But but it's at a more basic level, like all relationships, long-term relationships go through that, and you have to know when you're going to surrender to one person, what one person wants, but then other times fight for what you want, and all that. So, and be your own person, but yet be together. So
Yeah, definitely.
what do you got?
To start, I'd say two big themes is connection and creative obsession, which we kind of already talked about. And similar to what you mentioned, the power dynamics of a relationship, obviously that's a huge part of this movie. And obviously with the way the film goes too, with the film starts with Alma being Reynolds' muse, then later the film, Alma essentially dominates Reynolds, and the other thing I kind of to me thought of as a theme of this movie is the sacrifices artists make in their lives with pursuit of their craft. Especially if you have that big of or that much of an obsession with it, there's gonna be a whole lot that gets sacrificed with your relationships and basically essentially every other aspect of your life.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Cool. Well, let's get into a little trivia.
Yeah, I wonder how much trivia.
Well, first off, he got the idea for this film when he was sick in bed one day, and his wife, Maya Rudolph, which I didn't know his wife was Maya Rudolph,
I didn't know that either. Interesting.
was tending to him and gave him a look that made him realize that she had not looked at him with such tenderness and love in a long time. P.T. Anderson said his favorite line is the other one I actually wrote down. The tea is going out. The interruption is staying right here with me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a great line. Honestly, there's a lot of really good lines in this movie.
Yeah. In preparation for the film, Day-Lewis watched archival footage, 40s and 50s fashion shows, and curated textiles from London and appreciated. Yeah, and he went to the New York City Ballet. He also learned how to sew, and he practiced on his wife, Rebecca Miller, trying to recreate a sheath dress that was inspired by a school uniform.
Yeah, it's Daniel Day-Lewis. He actually became a dressmaker. Like that's what I figured when I watched. I was like, yeah, he really.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, this dude learned how to.
Just like There Will Be Blood, he literally just he became an oil man.
Mm-hmm. Vicky Crepes. How do you think you say that?
How's it spelled?
Krieps.
Yeah, Cripes.
Yeah.
I guess.
Vicky Cripes did not meet Sir Daniel Day-Lewis until her first day on set. He famously stays in character during production. So she was instructed to refer to him as Reynolds for the duration of filming. In multiple interviews promoting the film, she is still referred to Daniel Day-Lewis as Reynolds.
But that's that's impressive. No work beforehand. She meets him first day of set, and
Mm-hmm.
they make
It's
very
awkward.
good
Yeah.
chemistry in the movie.
Yeah, it's true. The name Reynolds Woodcock
Mhm.
began as a joke between Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Thomas Anderson. The name made Anderson laugh so hard he cried, cementing its presence in his script.
Okay. I mean, it just sounds like a rich man in the 50s name anyway to me. Reynolds Woodcock.
So in the score, there was 90 minutes of score used during a 130-minute runtime.
Wow.
So Daniel Day-Lewis and Leslie Manville became real-life friends for 6 months prior to filming began in order to establish the close relationship between Cyril and Reynolds. Though most of the time they had to text each other back and forth, as Manville lived in London and Lewis has 2 homes between Ireland and New York.
Oh. I didn't know that. I thought he was just in the UK.
I guess he has a
So
house
he
in New
goes
York.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And this allegedly was his last film, though he said he's coming back for his son's film now, but
Yes.
because he announced in June of 2017 that he was retiring.
Mm-hmm. But even, I mean, in general, he never really did like a ton of films.
Mhm.
Like his career is pretty. He like obviously he's always been very particular about what he chooses. But I think it got, even as his career went, I think it got more and more like spread out, because even before this movie, I think there was a big gap between like his previous movie. Like I don't even know how many things he did in between There Will Be Blood and this.
Yeah, I remember Lincoln,
That's right. That was one of the big ones.
and that was a big.
And that was around like 2012. Yeah, I want to say.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that might have been one of the other ones. Maybe one other.
Yeah,
So, oh, yeah. And Lincoln was definitely one of the ones he also won for, I want to say, besides There Will Be Blood.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he has at least 2 wins.
This is a script was written by, or also in heavy collaboration with Daniel Day-Lewis. Anderson has even said that he probably should have received some kind of co-writing credit. So even though it's not in IMDb that way, but
Daniel Day-Lewis doesn't strike me as a type to like care.
so there it is. P.T. Anderson disrupted reports that he served as his own cinematographer, stating that while no director of photography was hired, he collaborated with and was advised by his camera operators and gaffers, since he does not have the technical expertise of a cinematographer.
Well, he did a great job.
So here he said in an interview with NPR, the idea of Reynolds hiding messages within the linings of the dress he makes was inspired by a legend of late fashion designer Alexander McQueen. Also concealed notes written within items of clothing he created.
Nice. I had figured some real life person had to have, done that before.
Yeah, it says a lot of the staff of Woodcock, and as well as the other parts, are played by non-professional actors, but real seamstresses and persons connected with the fashion world.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot I forgot about the side plot thing of with the one lady that was always having him make another dress, and then she marries the Puerto Rican guy.
Yes.
That's based on, there was actually a Dominican playboy that briefly married a wealthy lady from London.
Okay.
Yeah. Which that was funny when they stole the dress back.
Oh yeah. That was that was a good scene also. Because doesn't she like pass out at some point
She's like passed out on like
from the?
Mhm.
I don't know if she was too drunk or the dress was too tight or a combination of both, because she says several things about it being so tight on her. But anyway, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, yeah. Final thoughts?
No, just I really liked it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. It was a well-crafted film.
Definitely. And a good, I would say a pretty great movie to like retire on if you're Daniel Day-Lewis. Like a good final performance, even though obviously he's he's going to do another role, but honestly I don't even know how, like, he's not a main actor in it, I don't think. So who knows how much he's going to be in this upcoming movie, but
right. Well, it's, we both enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Did you have you seen this film, you watchers and listeners? If you have, what are your thoughts? Do you like it, dislike it? Do you agree, disagree with us? Let us know. You can do that by emailing at feedback@screentimepod.com or leave a comment and or DM. Next week we will be discussing Licorice Pizza.
yeah,
Which is the last film until his new one comes out.
yes, in September. Yeah.
So we will be tackling a new director here soon. Stay tuned to find out who that is.
Yes.
So we appreciate all you that like and subscribe, but if you don't, please like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. If you'd like, you can follow me or Jared on Instagram. I'm at JYoungBar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. Catch you guys next time.